Okay, today we continue with our class Halachos of Brochos. This class number 16. We start with what? With Sefer Halachos. And today's topic is when listening is loaded. Okay. And not only speaking Lashon Hara is loaded up, not before the divine image in which man was created, but to listen to someone else speak. Someone else speaks Lashon Hara is loaded as well. So basically, not only speaking but also listening. So we have to be careful and listen, and even reading when somebody types Lashon Hara. So you're not allowed to read it. Basically, all of the news, all of the other things, not allowed. The Torah states, "Do not accept the false report." Shmos 23:1. The Chofetz Chaim, so listening is one thing, and if he believes this, that's it. Even if he believed what was said, right? The Chofetz Chaim is apparently of the opinion that merely paying attention to Lashon Hara being spoken constitute giving it some degree of credence, and is in violation of this prohibition. So basically, if person is continually listening to this whatever somebody is saying, so he gives credence. So he said, maybe it is true. Let him finish. I want to hear how did it end. Right? How did it end? So that's the thing. So, but if he protests, for example, somebody added me or invited me to a group, and in WhatsApp, and first it's appear Kosher. I mean, the person who invited me, it was a trick. So after, I don't know, like 20 seconds, I saw it's not Kosher. I have no right to be there. So I left. That's it. So, but if a person would see what else they're going to say, there is big possibility he's going to, this probability that he's going to believe whatever they say. That's pure Lashon Hara, disgusting of the disgusting. Just it is wrong to select the shortcomings of others as a subject matter for one's own speech. So too, it is wrong for one to focus his attention on negativity being expressed by others. So let me read again, and we're going to explain because it's amazing. Just it is wrong to select the shortcomings of others as a subject matter of one's own speech. So too, it is wrong for one to focus his attention on negativity being expressed by the others. So people like to hear other people speak some negativities. Okay, so it's wrong to speak and wrong to listen. Just it is wrong to cause harm to others by way of speech, so too is it wrong to serve as a listener as potential harmful information being conveyed. Right, so basically by us staying and continue listening, we encourage that speaker to continue speaking. Right, if I say, okay, you know what, I'm out, I don't want to listen, just stop, I don't want to listen. So that's different. But if I would try to play a polite person, it's not good, basically. Right, I encourage him to continue. In short, the derogatory or harmful speech should never earn one's attention. So basically, stop it, just cut it right there. Listening to Lashon Hara, even if one does not believe it, is a violation of Torah prohibition. So, okay, you say, I'm not going to believe. As we say, believing it's a different story, but still, it is Torah prohibition. Okay, stop here.
Question there.
Yes, please.
So I didn't know. So it seems that even if you are only viewing the message that people are sending to between them, it's also forbidden.
Of course, it's the same. We just going now. We're going to draw a parallel. Same as it is forbidden to write the message, right? Write the Lashon Hara, or I don't know, or like make any body motions like you say, oh, this guy, or you just say like you go like this. Everybody understand that he's annoying, he's not good, he's stupid, he's whatever. You understand? So all of this is forbidden. It's forbidden to write. It's forbidden to speak. It's forbidden to listen. It's forbidden to read. You understand? So all of this news, basically, news 100% lashon hara, 100%.
So being in a group, WhatsApp group or any social network group where they are doing evil talk is forbidden. Hearing the news.
It is forbidden unless you're in a group like one of these Rabbi Reuven's group, when only some people can post messages, like three administrator, whatever they would post clip, some whatever updates, whatever we need to know, and that's it. But when everybody can speak up, like if the group they added to me, it's like fire. They created they created the group maybe I don't know 10 minutes before I joined, right? So I thought it's from whatever important person. So I joined, and it was like they just used his picture, his name. It was not from him. I saw in this 30 seconds, I saw a lot of lashon hara. I stopped. I exited the group. You understand? So as we said before, or we did not say before, maybe we did not say, maybe somebody else asked me. So I explained. So if it's not, or we discussed, if it's not a Torah knowledge, why would I want to listen to the opinion? The opinion is wrong, guarantee. So why would I want to spend my life on to listen to the wrong opinions? You understand? So what is going to add to my life? So instead of learning Halachos of Brochos that we're going to learn now, that can bring me to eternity, I'm going to hear what this I don't know lady has to say. You understand?
So that's the reason, and Rabbi Levin's groups is not allowed to write. That's according to
exactly. In one group for subtitles, there is subtitles group that they're allowed to write. But even then, I mean, everybody is supposed to be like on a level. So, I mean, sometimes they write sometimes they delete. I'm not sure why would you write, send, and delete? Like if it's a big group, like I'm not sure how many people there. Like many people. So don't write. Like I posted one message in this group for I don't know for all this time. When everybody were introducing themselves, I introduced myself. I never posted any messages. Okay, so all right, so let's do something productive, right? So we continue our Halachos of Brochos class, and the topic that we are on, very interesting topic. It's we actually switched from original book to this book temporarily. It's Shulchan Aruch, this Mishneh Berurah. And we discussing over which bread to make the blessing. So somebody asked me just recently one question, like very high question, whatever, some deep question. I said, should I learn this or this? I said, I told this person, you should learn over which bread to make the blessing. Start from that. Then you're going to advance to all of this nonsense that you're talking about. Okay, so let's see. Let it meet. Okay. All right. So, 1 second. Sorry. Okay. So continue. So let me read the whole CF and then we go with commentaries. So the CF says very very long. If one has in front of him bread baked by a non-Jew, okay, which is a pure flour. So just so I think we said last time, or we did not say last time. So a bread by a non-Jew is allowed if it's a pure bread without any additions. Right, simple bread, simple, the cheapest bread, whatever they have, it's good. Right, it's if you don't have anything to eat, so you're allowed to eat that bread, no problem. Right. But if okay, one more time. If one has in front of him bread baked by a non-Jew, which is a pure flour. So we said last time, we said pure flour, it's a good upgrade, right? Pure flour, and bread baked by a Jew, which is an impure flour. Then if he does not avoid eating bread baked by non-Jew, he may make the blessing over the bread, or over whichever the loaf he pleases. However, if he does avoid eating the bread by a baked by a non-Jew, he should remove it from the table, the bread from the table, the bread that the non-Jew baked from pure flour, until he has made the blessing of hamotzi. If both loaves of bread are lying on the table, and the head of the household does not avoid eating the non-Jewish baked bread, and does not intend to eat Jewish bread, but only non-Jewish bread during the entire meal, because the latter is of pure flour, whereas the members of his household will eat of Jewish baked bread, which is of the impure flour, he must perform the breaking of the bread with the pure bread, which was baked by a non-Jew. This is because he is the one who breaks the bread and only intends to eat of that bread. If the head of the household avoids eating bread baked by a non-Jew, and a Jew who does not avoid this is deeming this is dining with him at the table, then since the mitzvah of is incumbent upon the hand of the household, he may perform breaking of the bread with a superior quality loaf, of which was baked by a non-Jew. If then he is then permitted to eat a non-Jewish bread during the entire meal, since it was permitted for him to perform the breaking of the bread with it and eat it following the blessing of hamotzi. Gloss is remark. This only applies if the bread of bread that a non-Jew baked appeals to him. But if it does not appeal to him, then quite apart from the question of the prohibition against eating bread baked by a non-Jew, which is involved, he does not need to give its precedence. Okay, so that was, as I warned, it was very long sieve. So we're going to go from the beginning, and and we're going to explain what it says here. So before learning deep stuff, try to understand blessing over the bread. So people think like blessing over the bread is a hamotzi. It's not so easy. Okay. So continue. I mean, from the beginning. If one has in front of him bread baked by a non-Jew, which is of pure flour, and bread made by a Jew, which is a impure flour. Okay. So that's our situation. So as we said last time, of course, the bread from pure flour has a precedence if it's the same species. Okay. So let's see. Mishneh Berurah says, bread baked by a non-Jew, which of pure flour. However, if two loaves are equal quality, it is a self-understood that Jewish bread has priority for the blessing to be made over it. Okay. So now Shulchan Aruch brings the case to us when the non-Jewish bread is better quality than Jewish bread. Okay, Mishneh Berurah adds the different situation, right? If they're of the same quality, there is no question you have to do the blessing of the Jewish bread. Okay. So from the beginning, if one has in front of him bread baked by a non-Jew, which is of pure flour, and bread baked by a Jew, which is impure flour, then if he does not avoid eating bread baked by a non-Jew, he may make the blessing over whichever loaves he pleases. Okay, so basically, okay, so let's read the commentaries. So, but before we read the commentaries, Shulchan Aruch says, if he has no problem to eat bread baked by a non-Jew and baked by a Jew, so he can choose whichever bread he wants. So basically, so we understand what is going today, what's going on today. So let's say I'm talking about US. In many cases, especially where we live, a lot of Jews live around, right? Many bakeries have some kind of Jewish supervision. Right? They have kashrus. So basically, this is bread baked by a non-Jew, 100%. We don't have any doubt, but it is kosher. Meaning what? It is bread baked by a non-Jew with all kosher ingredients in all kosher process. Basically, that's what that stamp means. So you can eat it, but you must know that it is bread baked by a non-Jew. Okay, so if he has no problem, he can take either one. But on a bread that is baked by a Jew, right? So it has a stamp. It has writing there. That is a Pas Israel. So it's a bread made by a Jew. Okay. So all right. So that's what we're going to comment on. This is because each one of the loaves has its advantages. Meaning that one baked by non-Jew is high quality, right? And the baked by a Jew, lower quality, but baked by a Jew. So that's two different advantages, right? This is because each one of the loaves has advantage over the other. The one because it is Jewish bread, since the bread of the non-Jew was only barely permitted by the sages. The other because it is baked from the pure flour. So basically, was only barely permitted by the sage. This non-Jewish bread. So the explanation is for this. If I remember correctly, so it was a problem. So they would you see to bake a bread you need a special oven, right? And like you need to know what are you doing. Even in olden days, everybody, like most of the people baked their bread in their houses, but some people were lazy or they did not know how to do it. They didn't have these stoves, right? So they would prefer if baker would bake it, right? So after the fact, there is no problem. Okay, continue. However, so we got it. So if he eats this bread and this bread, so he can choose whatever he wants. Okay. Continue with Shulchan Aruch. However, if he does avoid eating bread baked by a non-Jew, he should remove the table. He should remove from the table the bread that a non-Jew baked from the pure flour until after he has made the blessing of Hamotz. So okay, so now he is trying to go stringently, and he eats only bread that baked by a Jew. But let's say somebody in his family eats bread that baked by a non-Jew, right? So Shulchan Aruch clearly said he has to remove from the table, right? So it's like it's not there. So in this case, he would have only one choice to make a blessing on bread made by a Jew.
I have several questions now.
Go ahead.
So what does it mean, a bread without any additional ingredients?
So usually bread, the cheapest bread, right? So it would be from rye flour or from wheat, right? Flour, pure flour, plus salt and maybe sometimes they add a little sugar, salt, sugar, and they add yeast. That's it. That's all the ingredients are kosher. You understand? But when they started making all of this other breads, sometimes they would put pork in there because it would taste better.
So that in Brooklyn, for example, it won't be a problem. But here where I live, there is no kosher bakery, so I am allowed to buy.
But cheap, like regular bread, without any addition, without any like things, it would be permitted.
And how
if you look, flour, it's very cheap compared to other products, right? So if it's a cheaper bread, you can assume that there's no addition. Once you go like this fancy schmancy bread, that's you might suspect that added something. I mean, why would it be more money? You understand?
I having a doubt here with the leaven. I don't know how to say the
leaven.
Leaven,
yeah.
So what kind of leaven would be allowed for a bread, baked by non-Jew?
No, any bread. No. In all of the breads, they add yeast. So yeast is an ingredient that make the bread rise. So in all of the breads, they have yeast.
So basically, I am allowed to go to the bakery and buy bread, common bread, without anything.
Yeah, simple bread, yes.
Because I was thinking that the bread without any additional ingredients was flour and water, only that.
Exactly, and salt, and yeast. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So you can, if you have a bakery, let's say small bakery, when they bake right there, not from a big company, but from small bakery, you can come into the store and ask them, what is inside? How do you bake it? They're going to tell you. I mean, people, if they do not know why you're asking, they're going to tell exactly the whole process. But here, what they do here, right, in Brooklyn, for sure. So when they make pizza, not kosher pizza, Italian people may make pizza, and they put a little pork fat. You understand? Because it tastes better. So some Jews would go there and say, well, "What I'm eating? It's a bread. Bread is kosher." You said bread is kosher. Yeah, bread is kosher. Yeah? It's a bread and cheese. Cheese came from a cow. Cow is kosher, right? So cheese is kosher. No, cheese is not kosher from a non-Jews, and plus this pork. So some things, I mean, many things we cannot assume that it is like in olden days. In olden days, everything was simple, right? Simple ingredients. But today there is a lot of processed food, and they add some things. But this bread, it's flour and water mostly.
I have another question about non-Jew making kosher food. It's only applying for bread or to any food?
No, it's let me. I don't. Okay, it's a big topic. I don't want to go. It's a huge topic, but I'm going to give you only simple summary. So all of the foods, right? All of the foods that you would serve on the table for a king, right? Whatever foods you would cook and serve on a table of the king, if the non-Jew cooked it in a kosher kitchen, you're not allowed to eat. So basically, all of the meats, right? Your meat you would serve the king. all of the eggs, all of the like vegetables, like potatoes and stuff, like salads. No, not salad. I'll take it back. Salad is allowed because it's not cooked. But all of this cooked fish.
So in that case, a non-Jew cannot make even if it has a kosher supervision.
No. Okay, so if it has a kosher supervision, there is no problem. So because he would afraid that the Jew would see whatever he does and he is going to fire him. You understand? So in all of the kosher restaurants and all of the kosher like bakeries and stuff like that, there is always or almost always some Jew, supervising Jew on a side. So he can come out, come back in. He can go, I don't know, like make a phone call and come back and take care of the things and come back 1 hour later. It's not a problem. So these people, non-Jews that work in a bakery, let's say, or in any other restaurant, they know that he's going to come. When? I don't know. Maybe in 15 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Maybe he went, I don't know, to spoke to somebody on the phone. You understand? So, but meat is different. So with meat, if they have meat restaurant, you must have Jew all the time for supervision. Yes.
Another way of asking this would be, is a non-Jew allowed to be hired as a cook by a Jew in a kosher restaurant?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So in most of the restaurants here where we live, all of the people in the kitchen, they're non-Jews. But Jew must supervise whatever they do. So he must see the ingredients. He must start the fire, right? But that's according to Ashkenazic tradition. According to Sephardic tradition, all of the cooks must be Jews. So I apologize, I didn't say that. Yes. So that's much. In this case, it's much stringent. In Ashkenazic tradition, they say if Jew participated in the cooking, if it was without meat, there is no problem. He started the stove and he went and he came back, and they know, and they never know when he's going to come back. That's good enough. You understand? So that's the summary. But it's not our subject. I don't want to go too deep inside. But Be'Ezrat Hashem, I'm planning to cover the subject.
And how is the blessing of the bread made? I mean, because I'm having doubts when I made the blessing on bread, if using the name or using holy names to say the
holy name. Adoy, we say Adoy, of course.
If you say the name, it would be invalid.
Adoy, yes. Mm-hmm.
If you say if you say Hashem, it would be invalid, the blessing on the bread?
Yes, it would be invalid, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that's not what our Chazal instituted. They did not say Hashem. So if we learn in the class, so in the class, I'm not going to say the whole blessing. You understand? But I must tell you the blessing so you know what I'm talking about. So I would say Hashem, and I would say another name. I would mispronounce one letter. Instead of hey, I'm going to say K. But it's good enough. You understand what I'm talking about. But when I'm making the blessing before eating bread or doing any other mitzvahs, I'm going to pronounce properly. Of course. So
it would be for any type of food. It would be nullified if you say Hashem instead of the.
Yes. It's It's not. It's not how our sages instituted. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so the question is, so one more time, let's go to the Shulchan Aruch. So we said that if that person does not eat non-Jewish bread, okay, he wants to go stringently, and there is a non-Jewish bread on the table, he should remove the non-Jewish bread, as we said, from the table and make the blessing on the Jewish bread. That's it. So let's see what Mishneh Berurah is going to say. He said, this ruling originates from the words of Tsar of Kusi, okay, who was afraid that if it would be left lying on a table, it would appeal to him more than the Jewish law. When he came to make the blessing, since it is bread baked from a pure flour, and he might therefore have to make the blessing over it for that reason. So here's this Tsar of Kosi. Okay, so basically his concern was, the question is why do Shulchan Aruch said that that I have to remove this non-Jewish bread. Okay, if we just said it's only for the people who do not eat the non-Jewish bread. So what's the problem? If I'm not, if I have kosher and non-kosher thing on my table, so of course I'm not going to touch this non-kosher thing or things that I do not want to eat, right? So let's say I have a piece of cheese on my table, right? And now I'm planning to eat meat. I'm not going to touch cheese. I don't have to remove from the table. You understand? So it's a good question. So they say, okay, yeah, of course. He usually does not eat this bread baked made by non-Jew, but now maybe he's going to wash his hands, come back to the table, and this bread from the pure flour looks much better. So he will think maybe I should have a little piece of that. So to remove this temptation from him, we remove this bread. He started eating from a Jew bread made by a Jew, and that's it. Many Achronim are very doubtful about the correctness of this reasoning, since in view of the fact that he avoids eating non-Jewish bread and treats it as forbidden, the fact that he is the fount of the bread cannot be of any significance. Nevertheless, it is desirable initially to have regard for what he says and remove the non-Jewish bread from the table. Okay, so many Achronim said, no, come on, what do you know? Why would he take this non-Jewish bread, right? So why would he do that? For him, it's like non-kosher food, right? As I said in my first example, why would he remove it, right? Right. So okay. I mean, it's like he's fond of the bread, and it cannot be of any significance, right? So he likes that one. Okay. So Mishneh Berurah says, okay, try to follow Shulchan Aruch if possible. If not, so we can rely on that opinion also. But I would say if Shulchan Aruch says, why would he go against it? Don't do it. Okay. So continue with Shulchan Aruch. Next scenario: if both loaves of the bread are lying on a table, meaning better flour, pure flour baked by a non-Jew, and impure flour baked by a Jew, so lie at the table, and the head of the household does not avoid eating non-Jewish bread, non-Jewish baked bread. So basically he eats this and that, right? Non-Jewish and Jewish bread, and does not intend to eat Jewish bread, but only from a Jewish bread. So he's a very interesting example, right? So there are two loaves in front of him as scenario for all of these cases. So now he wants to eat only non-Jewish bread because it's a pure flour, and he does not want to eat Jewish bread. That's the situation. Let's see what Mishneh Berurah has to say. So Mishneh Berurah is going to comment on, and does not intend to eat from Jewish bread. There's although the Shulchan Aruch writes in the beginning of the paragraph that one may make the blessing over whichever of the loaves he pleases. This only applies when he intends to eat the meal from both of the loaves. So he's Mishneh Berurah counts and clears everything out. up, right? So he said, when we said he can make blessing on this or that bread. So no. The Mishneh Berurah said no. Only if he's going to eat from both of the breads. Maybe they're smaller, right? I don't know. Maybe the whole family is going to eat, so everybody was go with one loaf is not enough, so they want to distribute, let's say, impure bread and then pure bread. Okay, so it's very possible that they're going to eat from both breads, both loaves, right? And in this case, he can make the blessing on whatever he chooses. But in this situation that we discuss now, he wants to eat only from non-Jewish bread. If, however, the head of the so basically, okay, so let's remember only one person in this scenario is going to make the blessing. Right? That's the issue at hand. Only one person, the head of the household. It's not always true. I mean, if you're in somebody else's house, let's say people invite you over, and I went there with my family. So right, this person is going to make his own blessing. I always make my own blessing on Hamotz. I mean, I would answer amen to him, but I always make my own. Right, unless I don't have two breads, two rolls, and stuff like that on Shabbos, that's the different story. But otherwise, I always make my own blessing.
I have another question.
Yes.
And what about the blessing on washing hands? It would be enough, one a day?
One a day? What do you mean?
Yes.
No, you can wash your blessing of the hands. So there are two different blessings on. Two different scenarios when you say the blessing on the washing of the hands. First of all, first one that you make once a day when you wake up. So you woke up after the sleep, so you wash your hands, and then you say the blessing for that washing. And second washing, second scenario for washing is when you ate bread. So how many times you can do it? Maybe you ate 3 times a day. You ate bread. That's all you have bread. So you all your 3 meals will consist of bread. So you wash 3 times. You say 3 times the blessing.
There is any way of avoiding saying the blessing of washing hands?
No. You in this case you required. So you ate breakfast with a piece of bread. Right, you ate a piece of bread and tea, let's say, whatever, coffee, and then for lunch you had a sandwich, and at dinner you have another sandwich, let's say. So there are two separate events. I mean, they're not connected.
What if you use utensils to eat the bread?
Say it again.
If you use utensils to eat this bread, is it required also the blessing?
The blessing is blessing for washing of the hands.
Yes.
If you use utensil, one second. Let me say. I think you always have to wash your hands, but if you're not going to touch the bread, as you said, so you're not required. So let's say if you're not going to, for sure, you're not going to touch the bread, so you're going to use a fork and knife to cut the bread. So it's on your plate, and that's how you're going to it. Yeah, you're not obligated to wash your hands.
Okay.
Correct. So the only problem is touching. Okay, but they say most of the time the sages will say still wash it. Why? Because it's not normal way of doing things. Eat the bread with a fork. So I mean, so many our sages say still do, because what if you forgot and you touch bread as you usually do, right? But if, for example, if person has some kind of rash on his hands and he cannot, he put this cream special ointment and he cannot wash his hands. So in this case, yeah, he can use it the knife and the fork and knife. Okay. So one more time, go into our scenario. So we're talking about this head of the household, and he's going to make the blessing for everybody else. So basically, we have to go by his blessing. Okay. Okay, and he does not intend to eat from bread baked by a Jew. So let's see the Mishneh Berurah. There is also the Shulchan Aruch writes in its beginning of the paragraph that he may make the blessing over whichever loaves he pleases. This only applies when he intends to eat the meal from both loaves. Okay, we said that. If, however, the head of the household has no intention whatsoever of eating of any other bread, but only this non-Jewish bread during the entire meal, he does not need to make the blessing over any other loaf of the bread, even if it is more distinguished, as stated above in gloss to paragraph 1. So basically, because he likes this bread and he has intention, so we're not going to force him to eat a different bread. Okay, especially as we said, this is a bread of better quality. Although the blessing of Hamotzi also serve for the members of the household to discharge their obligation with respect to this blessing, and they will not be eaten from a non-Jewish bread, but only for fully kosher bread, he should nevertheless make the blessing over the non-Jewish loaf. This is because he himself only wishes to eat from a non-Jewish bread. And since he's head of the household and actually made the blessing, his intentions are primary consideration. And the Torah over which bread the blessing should be made. He should therefore make the blessing over the bread that he eats. So here's a conflict of the in the family, right? Conflict. So his wife said, "I'm not going to eat this non-Jewish bread. Children also not going to eat. So, but this the father guy, so that's what he wants to eat. So many times women are more religious than men, right? I have a friend and his wife is not going to pick up the phone, right, until after Havdalah. You're allowed to answer the phone. So until after Havdalah, and sometimes they would delay Havdalah. So it's like maybe even 2 hours or more than after the Shabbos. It's very interesting. So this person, head of the family, wants to eat the non-Jewish bread. Family do not want to eat this bread. So still we go by, since he's the one making the blessing, so he's going to make the blessing on non-Jewish bread. Okay, so let's see what other people have to do in this case, because they're not going to eat the bread over which the blessing was made. So one more time from the beginning of the sentence. If both loaves of bread are lying on the table, and the head of the household does not avoid eating Jewish bread, non-Jewish baked bread, and does not intend to eat Jewish bread, so it's clear. He wants to eat only non-Jewish bread, but only of the non-Jewish bread. Okay, so he only wants to eat non-Jewish bread during the entire meal. That's it. Not a little piece, not maybe, not and then. No, only non-Jewish bread, because of the latter is of the pure flour. So I mean, we don't judge him, right? We said, okay. Shulchan Aruch said, you know why do we don't judge him? Because this non-Jewish bread of pure flour. Whereas the members of his household will eat Jewish bread, Jewish baked bread, which is of impure flour. He must perform the breaking of the bread with the pure bread, right, which was baked by a non-Jew. So they're not going to eat this bread that he's going to eat, but still he has to eat. He has to make a blessing and eat from the bread that he's going to make the blessing. Okay. This is because he is the one who breaks the bread and he only intends to eat of that bread. So he has no intention to eat from another bread. So okay, so he makes the blessing only on that bread. Okay. So continue. So now you have to understand what the family has to do. Continue. Okay, there's no more Mishneh Berurah. Continue. If the head of the household. So if any question, if any doubts, they just stop me and we're going to go about the situation. But I try to explain to make it clear. Okay. If the head of the household avoids eating bread baked by a non-Jew, so here's opposite, right? And a Jew who does not avoid this is dining with him at the table, then since the mitzvah is incumbent upon the head of the household, so now the scenario is different, right? Now, so it's very interesting. So he said now the head of the household does not eat the bread. So he's a more frumer guy, right? More religious guy. So he does. Even the has avoid. So he does not eat the bread baked by a non-Jew, but he dines his guest actually wants to eat that bread, better bread, right? That baked by a non-Jew, right? So, but then since the mitzvah incumbent upon the head of the family, meaning they make the blessing, he may perform the breaking of the bread with a superior quality loaf, which was baked by a non-Jew. I'm not sure why it doesn't say that, but okay, so one more time. If the head of the household avoids eating bread baked by a non-Jew, so the head of household does not eat, and Jew does not avoid, by a non-Jew, and a Jew who does not avoid this, I mean, he would eat the bread being baked by a Jew, by a non-Jew, is dining with him at the table. So here's this from guy has another guest dining with him, and so this guest can eat this bread or that bread, does not care. Then since the mitzvah is incumbent upon the head of the family, he may perform the breaking of the bread, which is superior quality loaf that was baked by a non-Jew. It's not clear why, because we just said that he is trying to avoid. Okay, so let's see the Mishneh Berurah. I think he's going to explain.
A question.
Mishnah, yeah, go ahead.
So I think, according to what I am learning now, that it's almost a mitzvah to break the bread with bare hands.
No, it's just expression, breaking the bread.
But what tools you must use? Your hands or pitcher?
It's up to you, but it's proper to have a knife to cut it. But there are some breads. I don't know what they're like. I think they call lavash, like round bread, and like this thin or this thick. And they when they bake, they put on a side of the oven. They say like old style, like old country style, like round oven, and they would stick it on the sides all around. And then they would take with their hands. Don't ask me like how they not getting burned and stuff like that, but that's what they do. And so it's very tasty bread. So this bread people usually don't cut with a knife. Usually they rip piece. But I think some Sephardim would rip, but it does not look like you destroy the food. Understand? And plus, if I'm guest in somebody's house and we just came, let's say from outside, and this guy was petting a dog and cat, and he was touching everything, he whatever, right? And now he just washed his hands without soap and anything, right? And then now he's going to rip a piece of bread and give it to me. Come on, I don't want to eat it. You understand? I would prefer if he just cut it without touching the bread and give me the piece. You understand?
So now I have this question about materials who are if you touch, you are getting tuma of materials, plastics and metals. What would be?
No, there is no tuma. We're not talking about tuma here.
Yes, but for example, I touch a mouse of a computer, plastic mouse of the computer,
Yes.
and I was eating a bread, so I get impurity from touching the.
No. There is no purity. There is no purity.
And what if you touch another material like metal?
There is no problem. No, there is no problem. The impurity might come only from these animals, dead animals that touch like piece of kezias, which is like we said 28 grams, like piece of mice or whatever was lying on something. So maybe then that piece became impure.
The scenario would be you make all the blessing, washing the hand and the blessing of the bread, but in the meantime you touch certain elements. You have to
No. Only so you only when you touch impure places. So what is impure places? So they say places on your body that are usually covered. So if you scratch yourself like maybe like under your shirt, or you took off kippah and scratch there under the kippah. So these places are usually covered, right? Usually covered for men. And if he scratched there, or he touched his shoes, he must go wash his hands again without second blessing.
So you are eating the bread, you scratch your head and you go wash your hands without the blessing.
Again, yes, again. So right, yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Another question: if sweet bread made with fat from a cow is allowed or not allowed?
Sweet bread may make it from fat from the cow?
Yes.
When you say fat, you mean fat from meat?
No, I think it's not from meat, but it's an ingredient. Sometimes bread can have. You said recently fat made from pork, but here they use made from cow, from the cow.
Okay. So what is the question? Okay, I got it. So
if it is allowed or forbidden to eat that type of food?
There's no problem whatsoever, no.
But
you must know that this bread become like meat. So for you it's meat. So if you want to drink milk after this bread, you have to wait 6 hours. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to our scenario. And see what do they mean. Okay. If however the head of the household has no intention whatsoever of eating of any other bread, but only this non-Jewish bread during the entire meal, he does not need to make the blessing over any other loaf of the bread, even if it is more distinguished, as stated in before. Okay. Although his blessing of hamotzi also serves for the members of his household to discharge their obligation with respect to this blessing, and they will not be eaten of from a non-Jewish bread, but from a fully kosher bread. He should nevertheless make the blessing over the non-Jewish bread. So basically, as we said, this guy is not so religious, right? Family is more religious, right? But so he is going to make the blessing over non-kosher bread, non-Jewish bread, and they going to eat from the Jewish bread. This is because he himself only wishes to eat non-Jewish bread. Actually, we said that, but let me finish anyway. And since he is the head of the household and actually makes the blessing, his intention are primarily consideration and determine over which bread the blessing should be made. He should therefore make the blessing over the bread and he eats. Okay, so but the question we said is what? Okay, that's everything is understandable. What is with them, with the family, right? So one more time, the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, let's try not to interrupt. Let's try to finish this paragraph. If the head of the household avoids eating bread baked by a non-Jew, who does not avoid this, and a Jew who does not avoid this, right, is dining with him at the table. So that's our situation. Sorry, whatever we just read, we already explained, right? So he has a guest who would eat this bread baked by a non-Jew. Then there is a mitzvah is incumbent upon the head of the household. So it's always the head of the household who is going to make the blessing. 21. There is the mitzvah of the performing the breaking of the bread and making the blessing which serves for him and others to discharge their obligation is incumbent upon him. So, but this mitzvah is only for bread. If we eat apple, I make one blessing and he makes his own blessing. I cannot cover, basically, my blessing cannot cover his apple. This accords with the rule of the sages that the head of the household should be the one to break the bread. Okay, should be one to bake the to break the bread, so that he should break off the large piece and give generous portion to the diners. So here's very interesting. So the explanation that that our sages give, why would the head of the household break the bread? And as we said before, when we started this topic, the bread was the main the staple of the meal. So many people would have only bread, or bread and I don't know, some side dish. That's it. So now we say if guest is going to break the bread or cut the piece of the bread, so he would cut a modest portion, right? He does not want to like appear like a glutton. But if the guest, if the host, right, is head of the household, right? If he's going to break the bread, he can cut a bigger portion. That's why we give him the privilege. Since the guest will be eaten from non-Jewish bread, which is superior in quality and pure, the sages also permitted the head of the household to perform the breaking of the bread, which with which non-Jew bread with a non-Jewish bread, out of respect for the guest. So even though usually he avoids doing so, but now for the respect of the guest, he is going to make the blessing and cut or break this non-Jewish bread. When there is no guest present who will be eating from the non-Jewish bread, however, it is not at all permitted for someone who avoids eating the bread baked by a non-Jew to make the blessing over such a bread. So basically, in this case, we are forcing the head of the household. That's why I couldn't understand at the beginning. The logic should be opposite. Because we are forcing the heads of the household in honor of the guest actually to eat even a bread baked by a non-Jew, which he usually avoids. Right? Very interesting. However, if it is not at all permitted, sorry, I mean, he is trying to be careful. It is not at all permitted for someone to avoid the eating bread baked by a non-Jew to make the blessing over such a bread. So if you usually don't eat it. So keep from, right? Such a bread. Even though it is superior, and he should remove it from the table before the making of the blessing, as stated above. Meaning, as we stated above, maybe he would have desired to eat from this bread, right? This is in conclusion of the Shach and the Tas in Yorak Dea, section 112. See there. See Biur Halacha. Okay. Note that this ruling does not appear to be applicable to at all nowadays. Okay, here we go. When it has become customary for everyone to make the blessing hamotzi for himself. Okay, so here we go. But everyone should avoid the blessing over the bread, which but everyone should make, apology, everyone should make the blessing over the bread which he himself eats. Okay. See what Pri Megadim has observed concerning the basic ruling of Shulchan Aruch. Okay, so let's try to understand. So Shulchan Aruch says, okay, so we have a guy, he's trying not to eat from a non-Jewish bread, and he has a guest that he actually likes this non-Jewish bread. Maybe, like in my mind, I saw, how is it possible? Why would this from guy has this non-Jewish bread in his house? It's possible. So, and I had in my house. So some people, they would bring like to my house on Friday night, questionable things, questionable kashrus. So I tell everybody, don't bring, please don't bring. Bring wine, kosher wine. You want to bring some, bring bottle of kosher wine, whatever you like, and we're fine. But some people do not listen, of course, and they bring things of the questionable kashrus. And now they say, why you're not eating this? You understand? That's not smart. Understand? That's not smart thing to do to put the person, the host, in this situation, right? But let's say, so this guy did not know, and he brought a bread like some fancy schmancy bread, which is made by a non-Jew, right? Let's say it's kosher. Let's say it's kosher. Well, I mean, ingredients are kosher. Even it has stamp of the kashrus, let's say, possible, but it baked by a non-Jew. So Shulchan Aruch says, so in honor of the guest, because he likes that bread, and technically that bread baked in non-Jewish kosher, even though all year around, every day this guy, the host, avoids to eat this non-Jewish bread. So they said break the bread for this guy. I mean, of course he has to eat a little piece at least, and the guest is going to eat. But if Mishneh Berurah said, but if he avoids to eat, if he by himself, he's not allowed to eat that bread. That's it. For him, this bread is not like, it's like non-kosher. You understand? So, but then Mishneh Berurah says today people make their own blessing. But some people are like, let's say in Sephardic circles. So if you come to somebody over for Shabbos, right? Like Friday night, let's say Friday night, and there are 5 couples, right? 5 families, not couples, but families, right? So the head of the household make kiddush, and that's it. And everybody accepted that kiddush, and that's it, right? So if somebody from one of the guests would start making kiddush, it would be insulted to the host. You understand? It's like I made a kiddush. What, my kiddush not good? I'm not kosher Jew for you. I invited you to my house and made for you all of these dishes. Now you disrespect me? Okay, that's their custom. Ashkenazi custom, no. Everybody, all of the head of the household, make the blessing for their household, right? So for his wife and children, if they came with him, there is no problem. There's nobody get offended because that's what Ashkenazim do. You understand? So, and if you first time came to Sephardic people and they do not know, right? They do not know the laws of Ashkenazim, you have to explain them. So there is no disrespect. I'm going to make my own kiddush and I'm going to make my own blessing on the bread. So Mishneh Berurah says today many make their own blessing of the bread. There is no problem. So father did blessing for everybody, but children said amen, right? Or wife said amen, but she's not going to eat from that bread. She's going to eat from another bread, right? So she would cut from another bread, from a bread that made by a Jew, and they can make a different blessing. There's no problem. Okay, so continue. He then permitted to eat from a non-Jewish bread during the entire meal. So it's like leniency that Shulchan Aruch gives him. It's unbelievable. Since it was permitted for him to perform the breaking of the bread with it and eat it, following the blessing of Chamotzes. So even though you're not obligated to continue eating, even if you ate a little piece, you can stop and go and switch to the bread made by a Jew. But Shulchan Aruch give us permission. So if you want, you can continue eating this non-Jewish bread, even though he avoids to eat it all year round. So they give him this leniency. Continue. Gloss meaning remark. This only applies if the bread that the non-Jewish bake appeals to him. Oh, here we go. But if he does not like it, so we try not to force a person. So when you say a blessing, right? When you thank Hashem, it has to be like from the bottom of your heart, right? So if you don't like something, so this blessing is not sincere, which is not good, right? So they say if he does not like this bread, but if he does not appeal to bread does not appeal to him, then quite apart from the question of the prohibition against eating bread baked by a non-Jew, which is involved, he does not need to give its precedence. So he does not like it. It has nothing to do that I usually don't eat the bread baked by a non-Jew. I don't like it. So we take personal preferences in consideration. Last Mishneh Berurah, and we stop. So Mishneh Berurah says, the Rama means by this that all this only applies if the non-Jewish bread actually appeals to him in the essence that he merely refrains from eating it because it was baked by a non-Jew. So it looks nice, it looks puffy, and this and that. So he would like to eat it, but the only reason why he's not eating is because it is baked by a non-Jew, right? So sometimes they sell these things like I don't know, even on the street and smells good and looks good. Okay, it looks good, smells good. Do I like how it looks? Absolutely. Do I like how it smells? Absolutely, 100%. But I continue walking. Understand? So I continue walking not because it does not look good or it does not smell good. No, because it's not kosher and I'm not allowed to eat it. Right? So that's what Shulchan Aruch explains. Mishneh Berurah explains. Okay. However, if the non-Jewish bread does not appeal to him, so and somehow in his mind it's disgusting, even though it's not, right? Appeal to him in essence that he has no desire to eat it. Okay, he does not want to eat it for sure. He should make the blessing of the bread that he will eat, which is fully kosher. So that's what Mishneh Berurah says. So don't force yourself. Okay, so we can stop here. So we did one sieve. It was very long and very, very interesting. So that's Mishneh Berurah. So when you learn inside of halacha, so on one hand it's a lot of details, but on another hand, the way I see it, you have a bigger picture. So if you have a bigger picture, so later on, even if you don't know, if you don't remember all of the specific details, if you remember the logic, so you can derive in case of the necessity, you can derive the halakha based on the logic that you remember. Okay, any questions?
I have 3 questions, I think.
Go ahead.
Are you allowed to give tzedakah to a non-Gentile on the streets who this Gentile is selling to you a sweet pie? Are you allowed to buy from him or not?
What's that? Buy or just give him tzedakah?
Buy. Many people here sell products on the streets, but from unknown origin. But in this case, maybe he's selling a sweet pie, which they are made from basic ingredients.
You see, the thing is, so when when we said that you're allowed to buy bread baked by a non-Jew, right? So what does it mean? That this person has a kosher, not kosher. He has a commercial bakery. He has commercial bakery, and he does not eat and he does not use milk. So you also have to understand. So you have to check that there is no milk on the premises. Otherwise, if he would use milk, right? So first of all, it is possible that this milk not kosher, right? That we should not eat drink the milk without Jewish supervision, right? There is one halacha. And second of all, so if he had the milk, added milk in your bread, so your bread became milk. So you cannot eat this bread with your chicken. That's the problem. So, but let's say, if it's simple bakery, they just do bread, no cookies, no pastries, no cakes, only bread. So, and there is no milk on the premises. So you know that they did not cook fish or chicken or pig in this bakery. You understand? Everything they do is making bread. But when you buy from somebody in the street who is, as you said, he's trying to survive. He cooked in his house, so he cooked in this stove. He cooked pork, right? 5 minutes later, he did the bread, and bread. Guess what? Smells very good, right? It smells very good. So that's why commercial baker and private baker and private persons, two separate things. So this guy, he has his own house. In his own house, he's going to eat pork 100%. But in his bakery oven, he's not going to cook pork. That's what we rely on. That he wants to bake only bread. That's his business.
So the rule will be not to buy anything.
Not to buy.
Just give it tzedakah, not buy.
Yes, yeah. Give it whatever. Give it a few coins, and that's it. Continue working. Yeah.
Okay. Another question is about the grace after meal. I think we asked there to Hashem that let not us need the gifts of men. So are you allowed to benefit from the charity of the nations?
Are you allowed to benefit from a charity of the nations? Yes, you're allowed.
Two scenarios here.
But no, go ahead.
Example one would be a guest who is a Gentile is buying food stuff for the house, and the question would be if you are allowed to get benefit from this stuff this guest is buying for the house.
So when saying guest, so there is a Jewish house, and this non-Jewish guest, right? So he's staying with a Jewish family.
Yes, and he's buying.
That's normal. That's normal thing to do. I mean, it's not tzedakah. I mean, he feels embarrassed or ashamed that he's using he's staying with them. So I give you an example. Like I have a hotel not too far from me. So somebody said, no, I'm going to come over. Maybe I stay in this hotel. I say you can stay in this hotel. And I went to check how much is this hotel. It's almost $200 a night. I'm not even living. I don't live in expensive area, but this hotel is, I don't know, whatever, $200 a night. So if he stays by me, for example, right? He stays by me, so he saves $200. Let's say he would not pay $200. Okay, but whatever $100, $100 it costs. Let's say, so he can go buy me groceries. There's nothing wrong. You understand? He saves so much money. So to show appreciation, this guy, let's say he's not Jew, so to show appreciation, so he went and bought all these groceries from him. There is no problem.
So you are allowed to eat.
Yes, so it's not charity. It's a gift.
Yeah, but in the grace after meal, it's like we ask to not.
Exactly. No, but those are two separate questions. So for first question, are you allowed to take it? Yes, you're allowed to. Should you take it? No. That's the thing that is going went in Florida. Was this missionaries, right? That went to this Boca Raton shul. So they gave him money. So they gave tzedakah, whatever they call it, to this Jewish organizations. They've been doing it, so they buy in this. So this when this non-Jewish organization, church, they give money to the Jews. So basically, this money that they filled with impurity. So there is no blessing on Chas v'Shalom when these Jews are going to do. There is no. It's impurity. The product of the impurity is impurity. But we allow if somebody, a rich guy came, not Jewish rich guy came, and said, I want to give $1 million. Okay, look, we don't want to embarrass him, so we take this $1 million and then we put it aside, separate fund, right? And then the next time non-Jewish people come, we cannot say we're going to feed only Jewish people. You understand? Let's say we give out food before the holidays. Right? Let's say, and it's like open entrance. So, and if non-Jew comes, we cannot say, go away, you're not Jew. You understand? So we have to give him, we have to give this kosher, whatever food to this non-Jew. And he brought his 10 friends. What can you do? Right? You cannot start the fight, you cannot argue. So we can use the funds from this non-Jew, right? That gave us and feed his people. That's the proper thing to do, not to benefit from that money. Because because if you go, especially if you use it for holiness, so the holy merits goes to his account, and his cases became stronger. You understand? So we try not to do, not to take advantage of all of this charity, government, and stuff like that. So the reason that we allow to take some help from government is because you also paying taxes, right? We paying taxes, and you get something in return, but it's exception.
And example 2 will be this same question. So in this case, the Gentile who is a guest in your house is buying groceries for the house, but at the same time he's making an increment in the cost of electricity bill, gas bill. In this case, are you allowed to take even more according in proportion of what he's making the how do you say
okay, most likely you're not going to ask him for this, but if he has conscience, of course he's going to give more. Like for example, in a summer where I live, it's very hot. So if he's going to put air conditioner on for the whole night, it's going to cost me money. So if he's a normal person, he's going to compensate some, buy some wine, some gifts, some groceries, some bread, some milk, eggs, whatever, something.
So in this second case, this example was more precise.
Yes, so it's not charity. It's just some token of appreciation, some compensation. He saves much more. He saves much more by saying with me. So just compensate a little.
Okay.
So it's and it's not a gift. You cannot call it a gift. I mean, he gives as a gift. He does not need it, but he got much more in return, and he pays a little token of appreciation. So we're allowed to take it. There is no problem.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So wish everyone good Shabbos, and until Monday. Until Monday, same time. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good.